When parents are told that their child has ADHD, it is only natural that their first response is to want to know what caused this disorder. What did I do wrong? Unfortunately, there is no simple answer. For years, researchers have been trying to find the underlying cause of ADHD, but have yet to come up with a definite explanation. Although there are several theories to try to explain the causes of ADHD, most experts agree that it is most likely not any single cause, but instead a combination of factors that causes ADHD. I am here today to educate you that even though the majority of research shows that ADHD is hereditary, a growing body of research suggests that childhood exposure to certain environmental factors do increase the risk and severity of ADHD symptoms. The World Health Organization reports that about 24% of adults and 34% of children's health problems today can attribute to environmental risk factors. 1 in 10 American children now has attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. My speech today centers on environmental causes of ADHD. Human exposure to specific synthetic chemicals and heavy metals, air pollution including first, second, and third-hand smoke in the air, and consumption and elimination of certain foods in our diets. Let us begin. Exposure to toxic chemicals at critical junctures in development can have a permanent, lifelong impact on the brain and physical health. This begins before birth to the developing fetus and after birth to infants and children growing up and going through the expected developmental stages of early life. Many times this exposure can affect adults who continue to go through life with the challenges of ADHD. Maternal exposure to lead has been linked to serious deficits, and effects from lead appear to be permanent, leading researchers to conclude that there is absolutely no safe level of exposure to lead. Maternal intake of fish containing high levels of mercury and exposure to flame retardants in furniture or clothing can affect the neurological development of a fetus. Chemicals known as polychlorinated biphenyls, PCBs, can be passed along in breast milk, and arsenic and manganese from drinking water have been linked to reduced cognitive function in young children. High levels of fluoride have been linked to lower IQs, and pesticides have been shown to cause structural abnormalities in the brain. Mothers that have chosen careers in nursing, chemistry, and hairdressers and beauticians who are exposed to tetrachloroethylene have a greater chance of giving birth to children with hyper and aggressive behavior. Shortened attention spans have been the result of compounds found in cosmetics, nail polish, hairspray, and some plastic products. As you can see, these toxic chemicals can cause serious health issues. Next, as you can well imagine, are issues resulting from air pollution, including cigarette smoke. Mothers who smoke during pregnancy, even though they are probably addicted to the nicotine in the cigarettes and have difficulty, should seriously consider quitting the habit if at all possible. If they can't completely quit, they should at least cut down their smoking. During pregnancy, the nicotine lessens the amount of oxygen that the baby gets and is toxic to developing brain tissue in the baby's heart and lungs, with the potential to cause premature birth, birth defects, or even stillbirth. Besides the mother needing to cut down or quit smoking while pregnant, she needs to limit exposure to secondhand smoke at that time. Also, as studies show, it can lead to a diagnosis of ADHD at some later point in the baby's life after birth. And as far as smoking goes, not only is a smoker at risk and those exposed to secondhand smoke, but there is now, according to researchers at the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory, who published the results in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences what is called third-hand smoke. The chemical traces that cling to a smoker and that are left behind in a room where someone has been smoking. Exposure to this smoke can damage a developing fetus or young child after birth. Sometimes third-hand smoke, which has settled in upholstery, carpet, curtains, or in a car, for example, are almost impossible to avoid. Young infants are at risk as they crawl around on rugs and grab furniture that has soaked up some of this cigarette smoke. This is an idea I'd never thought much about. Moving on from smoking is another harmful pollution issue. According to Columbia University's Center for Children's Environmental Health, children who are exposed before birth to high levels of polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, or PAH, which are pollutants released from the burning of coal, tobacco, petroleum, wood, and trash, carry a 5% greater chance of developing ADHD by the time they are 9 years old. Other organic compounds found in the air include exhaust from vehicles and even the fumes released into the air from grilling meat, a product of charring. Studies conducted at the Centers for Disease Control have shown a link between prenatal polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbon exposure and resulting developmental delays at age 3, reduced IQ at age 5, and symptoms of anxiety, depression, and attention problems at the ages of 6 and 7. Obviously and unfortunately at this time, it's almost impossible to get away from these pollutants. We can only minimize our exposure to them. In addition to toxic chemicals and air pollution, diet including poor nutrition and certain foods affect behavior. Everyone is different, so food that is a problem for behavior for one person may not bother another person at all. Deficiencies in certain types of foods can worsen ADHD symptoms in children and adults. An ADHD diet that ensures you're getting adequate levels of the right foods optimizes brain function. In the 1970s, Dr. Benjamin Feingold designed a diet that eliminated food additives, artificial flavorings, and dyes. In more recent years, studies have been done on sugar-free, aspartame-free, and yeast or fungus-free diets. None of these studies have shown any conclusive evidence that they cause or aggravate the symptoms of ADHD. However, research has shown that there are certain dietary factors that are of particular concern if a child struggles with behavioral difficulties. Caffeine, excessive consumption of fast foods, and other foods of poor nutritional value such as candy, soda, energy drinks, boxed cake mixes, and canned frostings, which are loaded with sugar and artificial colors, are huge contributors to ADHD. Surprisingly, although fruits and vegetables are healthy choices for an ADHD diet, some frozen varieties can contain artificial flavor or artificial colors, and when treated with organophosphates for insect control, have been shown to cause neurologic-based behavior problems, according to Frank Barnhill, MD, an expert on ADHD and the author of Mistaken for ADHD. As far as meat is concerned, fish such as shark, mackerel, and swordfish that are extremely hard to digest and accumulate in the brain over time lead to hyperactivity. Some other common foods to watch out for are milk, chocolate, soy, wheat, eggs, beans, corn, tomatoes, grapes, and oranges. According to Gillette, healthy nutrition is important to all children, but doubly important for a child with ADHD. The better you feel the brain, the better it works. It stands to reason that unhealthy nutrition can lead to diminished brain function. Basically, we all know what we should be eating, as part of a healthy diet. However, especially with kids in our fast-paced world, we don't always do what we should do. As you can now ascertain, the risk and severity of symptoms of ADHD is certainly associated with environmental factors such as exposure to toxic chemicals, air pollution, and greatly influenced by the food products we eat, both by the mother before birth and the child as they go through the different stages of development in the early years. There has to be more education and cooperation among government officials in making and enforcing laws relating to a healthy, clean environment through elimination or reduction of toxic chemicals and air pollution and maintaining a healthy food source. Staying free of harmful environmental factors can be difficult, but following a healthy diet and maintaining a safe home can contribute to healthy kids and possibly reduce the effect of ADHD. And consumers must be educated to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Environmental conditions are largely the result of human behavior. Most people aren't aware of how their daily choices are affecting the environment. As anthropologist Jane Goodall states, what you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make.